I literally signed up for college a year ago, and then a year later, I'm at $30,000 a month. And it all happened because I had this switch in my brain, and I've broken it down into a science called the 3 F's, right? Fuck kids, fuck a wife, and fuck a house, right? And I'll tell you exactly why I had to adopt this mindset was because I had told my mom I had until I was 26 years old, right? I had given my mom a time frame so that she wouldn't be disappointed in me if I was still trying a business, if I was still trying this, if I was still trying that. In 4 years, I didn't want her to be disappointed in me, so I gave her a time frame. I also gave my girlfriend a time frame because she was older than me. She was 27, I was 22. And so I knew that she would want to have kids in her late 20s, early 30s. So I told her that I was going to go back to college. And I told my mom I was going to go back to college. I tried it. I'm done. I'm going back to college. And on the drive, well, before I even drove to college, sign up for classes, my girlfriend actually broke up with me because I was a fucking loser and I was becoming a normie and I was becoming a sheep. Ouch. That actually destroyed my self-esteem. But I went to drive to the college, and I just remember it took every bone in my body not to drive my car into a tree, because I knew that the second I signed up for classes, I would have given up on everything I ever wanted to do, and I had become one of the sheep, one of the people that I never, ever wanted to associate myself with. I never want to live a normal life. The worst thing to me is dying and having accomplished the same thing everyone else accomplished. A boring life, going to school, having a family. Blah. Oh, what a waste, right? And so I eventually, obviously, I'm at $30,000 a month now. I didn't stay in college, right? I got to a point where I said, fuck this. I'm looking at the paper of classes. I'm like, this is going to be 2 years of my life. I hate this. There's no way I'm doing it. And so I adopted this mindset that I said, I want this so bad, that I want to be successful in business so bad that I'm willing to give up the idea of having a wife, kids, and a house, because that obstructs my long-term thinking. So what happens is when you put those time constraints on yourself, right, of, I only have this certain amount of time before I give up, it's too much pressure, right, to actually make good long-term decisions. Instead of making good long-term decisions, you end up making good short-term decisions. But in business, short-term decisions aren't what really move the needle, right? They're kind of volatile. You don't know if it's a good short-term decision, it might not be a good long-term decision, right? So once I implemented the 3 F's of fuck a kids, fuck a wife, fuck a house, I just remember feeling very freed to actually do, and sorry, my nose is bleeding a little bit if I keep going like that, but I felt this overwhelming sense of peace and calmness of now I can actually operate in life and in the business the way that is going to benefit me long term, because now I can be 40 years old, and if I'm still working on the business, I don't care. That's all I want out of life, right? And so if I don't make it in 30 years, 40 years, how fucking improbable is that? To be 22 thinking about, I'm going to work at this business every day with infinite time. What are the odds that I don't make it? And you need to adopt this mindset, right? If I give myself unlimited time and I work at this every day, you get confidence from that. Because I don't have natural confidence. I'm not like a frat dude. I remember when I was in college, I would go to these frat parties and there's these fucking fags with flat hats on. They're chewing gum, they're looking around like this. and they're just judging people, and they'll call you a fucking douche. Like one of them will call me a douche, spit on my shoes. And I'm just like, how do you have this delusional confidence? I never had that. What I get confidence from is knowing that if I give myself unlimited time, I'm going to make it work, because it's improbable if you don't. I would be willing to bet that you have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do working on a business every day for decades, for even 1 decade, and not making it. It's just improbable. So if you're like me, you're probably like me actually. You're probably a little bit anxious, right? You really want to make it work. You don't want to disappoint your parents. But you need to adopt the 3 Fs. It's essential, right? Because that's the only way to actually operate with a clear mind and in a peaceful, manner that benefits you long term. So, purpose of this video is, if you're gonna get anything out of it, is don't put a time frame on anything. All right, it's gonna be okay, right? Just remember the 3 Fs.